Right guys, welcome back. So I bought probably the cheapest Focus ST in the country, and this sort of mileage anyway. It's done 86,000 miles. It's an 07 plate, as you can probably tell. It's the ST2, so it's not got the leather seats or anything like that, but it's a really nice low mileage example. And I've only paid £2,300 for this car, and usually the orange one, all the lamps are peeling off everywhere. On this one it isn't, but the other issue with this car is basically it's not boosting at all, and it's got a traction control light on, which I'm going to have to look into. So what I'm thinking, it could be either the traction control ABS unit might be broken, or it could be something else. The bloke that I bought this car off has changed the ABS sensor on the car, but can't seem to figure it out. So my plan basically is I'm going to try cleaning this car up and figure out the issues with the car, and then we can put it on sale. We've got a random one saying engine system's fault. We've got the ABS and the traction control light that have come on. Right then, so I've quickly explained to you everything with this car. Let me quickly show you around it and show you all the problems that we've got to fix on it. So, first of all, you've probably noticed as well, down here it's missing a washer jet. That's pretty easy to fix anyway. Round here then, right then, so another issue on it, it's got a pretty crusty wing on it, as you can tell here, but we're going to replace this wing and put a new one on, just to tidy the car up a little bit. So let's pop the bonnet. Another weird thing, someone's also replaced the bonnet lock before, because these tend to go wrong a lot. That's why this key's like that. Right then, so the engine, as you can tell, is absolutely filthy, but it's a really standard car in here, as you can tell. Most of these usually all tack it down. They've got loads of different stuff in here, but it's nice to see that it's not been messed around with. It's had a new battery on it as well down there, which is always good to know. Got a battery cover in the back, which we're going to put on anyway, but first of all, we're going to service the car, give it a good clean, and make it look nice in here for the next owner. Let's pop around the back and show you the exhaust then. Another thing as well, it's even got dealer plates on it, which I think is a Ford dealer in Peterborough, which is quite a nice touch on it, because it's quite a low mileage car with low own. I love the sound of these 5-cylinder engines. It's a bit different, and I think they sound wicked, and they tend to burble and popple quite a lot. See, even with the standard exhaust on it, it still pops and burbles a little bit, which I think is a really nice touch. It's just a little bit offbeat having a 5-cylinder engine. I think they sound wicked, to be honest, and even in standard form it sounds nice to me, which I'm a big fan of. Right, so then I've quickly shown you around this car anyway. Now all we need to do then is figure out what's actually wrong with this car and sort all the bits out that are wrong with it. Let's crack on and fix it. Here are the clocks, the car's running and it's on now. I cleared all the fault codes just to kind of clear everything up, see if anything got better, and I got all sorts of weird codes like P500, this, that, the other, and the engine management light was on, and now that's not on, but we've still got engine systems fault. And another thing with this car is when you're driving it, the mileage drops out to dashes all the way along, so you can't see the mileage. I've scanned the car, of course, and I'm still getting the ABS issues from that front wheel speed sensor. So what I'm going to do now then is jack the car up and see if I can find anything that's like a problem down there on the front right wheel speed sensor. If it's not that, then it's probably going to be the ABS control unit or something, but I'm hoping it's not that. But what I've been thinking is maybe the wheel speed sensor that was fitted, it wasn't very good quality, or there's something else down on that wheel that's still an issue. Right, so we've been doing a bit of further diagnosis on what's actually the issue with the car. We get a fault code basically for the front wheel speed sensor, the right side, which is this side here. This, as you can see, is the plug to the ABS sensor, which I've checked with the multimeter, and we're getting battery voltage at this connector here, so that shouldn't be the issue. Weirdly, the previous owners tried drilling it through there and cable tying it onto the sensor, which is down here. I've also checked that for reading on the multimeter, and we're getting about 800 ohms, so we should know that's probably not the issue anyway. It's not very good quality brand by the looks of it. But what we're going to do as well is going to swap that out, hopefully, for a better brand of it, and sort that out so it properly clips in and plugs in there, because I think that they might have broken the tab off on there. Besides that, what I believe the issue more than likely is on the back of the wheel bearing, there's this ring here, which was kind of falling off on it, and I believe that sits on the back of the wheel bearing, and then this sensor here sits like that, and that's how it gets its reading off there. So if the gap's too big, it's probably not getting a reading off it. So first port of call, of course, is we're going to swap that out for hopefully a decent brand, plug it in, and we should get a reading for that, as well as changing out the front wheel bearing on here, because I believe that if anything, this here is the issue, because it won't be getting a reading off it. We're going to service the car as well, because it's well overdue service, I think, and it will do the car nothing but favours. The oil filter's down there, as you can see, just to unbolt. Can't remember what size that is, can't really tell, to be honest. And then we've got to also take this off to get to the air filter and the oil filter down there. Just a few crosshead screws around here, nothing too major. Then we're going to do the plugs down here and drop the oil out, and then basically give her a nice little test drive and see if the fault code's cleared. So we've got the old air filter out now then. It doesn't actually look too bad, but we're definitely going to change that out anyway. So we've got the coil pack cover off, as you can see. We're just going to pop these out, check the spark plugs and change them out for the new ones. Torx bolts on it, I don't really like them. They're a bit crusty, but they came off with a bit of WD. Right then, let's get the coil packs off and check what the plugs look like on this. I'm pretty sure they're going to need changing. I don't think they've been done for a while. Right, and so all the coil packs are out now, and I've just taken the first spark plug out. Looks a bit warm, but it doesn't actually look too bad, but we're going to change them out and it should make the car run a bit smoother and a bit better. Right, so then guys, basically we found the issue with the car. Of course, what I tried doing then is I tried doing the ABS sensor and it wasn't that. So basically I did the wheel bearing on the car, and that little rubber ring just on the back of it, that was the issue as to why it wasn't actually picking up a wheel speed sensor at all. Beeping out because I haven't got my seatbelt on, but I'm parked anyway. So I've taken it out on a quick test drive and everything on the car seems absolutely perfect now. I basically didn't record it as I was doing it because last night the weather was absolutely awful. It was snowing, it was wet, it was cold. You probably know how it is anyway. But I basically just wanted to put everything back together on the car, which I've done now. I've literally just taken it out on a quick test drive, cleared the fault codes, and everything's absolutely perfect on the car now. Anyway then, let me show you the fault codes that I was looking at and basically how I diagnosed the actual issue with the car. Right then, let me show you how I diagnosed the issue and what I was looking at to try and figure out what was actually wrong with the car. So I went onto this module here, the ABS control module. Let's press OK, give it a second to load as well. Probably different on every scanner anyway. And then I went onto the live data to try and monitor what was actually going on with the car as I was driving it. So down here it's got all of these different things, and then it's got the readings here for the wheel speed sensors. And of course the fault code that I had coming up was the front right wheel speed sensor. So I took it out on a quick test drive, and of course it's not going to get a reading now, but after checking the ABS sensor, checked the continuity, it was getting battery power and everything like that. I was monitoring here if it was still getting a reading, and down here we were still not getting a reading at this figure here. And of course now what I've done then, I've quickly taken the car on a test drive after fitting that wheel bearing, and I've been getting a reading off here. I'm really happy with that, and maybe I've just got lucky with it anyway. Right then guys, so now what I've got to do is I've got to get the wing off the car because it's a little bit crusty, and I've managed to source a new wing from a breaker in the same colour code for just £100, so it's just as simple as unbolting this one and putting the other one on. So then all I've got to do now is undo the wheel bolts, then I can jack the car up and get access to get this wing. Right then guys, so I've jacked the car up now and I've just put the wheel under the car for safety. Now what I've got to do then is remove the arch liner. To undo the arch liner, I've just got to undo these few Torx photo bolts, as you can see around here. Then I can pull this off and I'll be able to get access to all the bolts under this side of the wing and be able to remove the trim down there, as well as being able to get to the bolts on top, and should be able to just take the wing straight off. Right, so then as you can see, this is one crusty old wing here. It's completely detached, so these bolts might be a bit difficult to get out, but we should be able to get them out easily enough anyway, and then just bolt the new wing in down there. The rest of it, there's another bolt just behind there, and I think there's another up there somewhere. We'll find out anyway. So as well then, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull this clip out. I'm going to press it in with some pliers, and it should just pull straight off here. Right, so we've got the cover off the seal. It was just a clip here which I pressed in, and then I pretty much just wiggled it off, slid it off here, and as you can tell, that's pretty shot. So it's a good job we're doing this. Look at that, it's crap in it. So then, unfortunately, the wing bolt is just up there. You can see on the inside. It might be a bit of a pain to get to, so we might have to take this out. But I'm going to see if I can get to it from the other side, which I doubt I'll be able to, but I'm going to give it a go. Right, so then to get this wing out, there's a couple of bolts along here, as you can see, that I've got to undo. They're both 10mm, so they should be easy enough to get out. Right, so we've got the bolt from the inside of the wing. Managed to get to this one down here with a long extension without having to take the washer bottle out. And here, there are about 4 bolts along here that I've managed to get out just. Now then, what we've got to do is get the top ones out. So first of all, we're going to have to take these off here. Right then, now we've managed to get this out. There was another Torx photo bolt under here. Of course, now we can easily access 10mm bolts here, here, and up there. So we're going to undo them, and we should be able to pull this wing straight off now. Right then, before I fit the other wing, what I've got to do is take these off, and these are actually that far rusted, I can't even get a socket on them, and it just keeps slipping off. Even with a bolt remover, I can't actually get them off. So what I'm going to do is get the old angle grinder out, grind them off at the front and back, and we should be able to put some new bolts in there, put the new wing on. Right then, so I've just cut the heads of the bolts off, as you can see now. I should be able to just knock them out with a punch, and it should be alright, and it should be ready to fit the new wing. Right, so then, in the end, I couldn't actually knock them out with the hammer because on the other side of here, there were chassis bolts, which it was basically threaded into the chassis, so I couldn't get them out for the luck of me. So what I ended up doing is I ended up grinding the back of the bolts off here as well, and then I've drilled through them now, so we can put the new wing on now, and that's good to go. I've put a couple of these clips on that you kind of slide onto a panel, and they have a thread in the back of it now, which is okay. I've got a couple of bolts now then that all go through there okay, so now all I have to do is put the wing on, put the bolts on, tighten them up, and it's good as new. Right then guys, so we've run into a bit of an issue. Basically the new wing that we've got is an absolutely shocking fit. Basically when you try and line it up here, if you look at the bottom, it does not line up at all because someone's cut this in the wrong place basically and welded it in the wrong way. So I'm pretty disappointed with that. I'm going to try and sort it out and see if there's a way around it. If not, I'm going to have to go back to the guy and say, basically, I don't want this wing because to me, that's absolutely shocking. But we're going to see what we can do about it and hopefully we can fix it. We finally got the wing in place and it's been an absolute nightmare to get in place. After talking to the guy, he said you're going to have to cut it and you're going to have to trim it into place, which isn't something I wanted to do. And in a way, it's been more hassle than it's worth. But it does fit nonetheless, but it's been a nightmare to try and align all these panel gaps here, as you can see up here, which isn't very good to do. And then down here as well, it's not exactly a very good fit. Even after cutting 10mm off the end, it's still not sitting flat, but it's the only way to actually get the gaps and the panel aligned properly so it doesn't stick out anything not too major, which I'm not exactly happy with. It does do the job nonetheless, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Of course, what I'm going to do now then is put a bit of primer on here to try and protect it for the long run. Right, so I've got the wing on now, everything's all on there okay, everything's tightened up, but I'm going to leave that off for now. Basically the trim clip for the wing until I've actually properly cleaned the car, and then I'm going to put it on with some double-sided sticky tack so it sticks down nice and well on there. Now it's on to my favourite point of course, which is going to be cleaning the engine bay. It's absolutely filthy in here and it definitely needs good clean, which is something that I'm going to be doing now. What I'm going to do then is pressure wash it off and use some traffic film remover to clean all of the stuff inside of here. Right, okay then guys, as you can see, we've literally just finished it and I think it looks a hell of a lot better now and that looks so tidy to me. Basically what we're going to do now is of course leave this overnight and then tomorrow we can crack on and give the car a nice deep and thorough clean. I've literally just quickly gone over the car to try and get rid of the worst of it, but we need to go in a nice sort of detail here because there's a lot of dirt on the car and it's going to polish it really well of course. Just even by looking at the engine bay you can tell how much better that is already. So that's going to leave it here for now, and tomorrow let's give it a good clean and it will look absolutely immaculate. And so we've managed to source another washer jet cover. It was only £25. From Ford it was about 40-50 quid, so I just got a second hand one. Obviously it's going to be a different colour, it's grey, I couldn't get one in orange, so I'm going to have to paint it and then we can put it straight on the car. I've just finished cleaning the Focus and already it looks far better than it did before, but we're not going to stop here. We want the car to look absolutely perfect. What we're going to do then is touch up the wheels because that needs to be sorted out in my opinion. Just going to go over the outside with the touch-up pen because I've got one in exactly the same grey and it should make a difference overall to the car. Right then, so now the wheels are dry, what we can quickly do is touch the wheels up with this touch-up pen, which is pretty much the same grey, so it should make the car look a lot cleaner. Let's get on with it. Right then, there we go. It may not be perfect, but it does look a lot better being completely grey than grey and silver and all scuffed up. Anyway, now I've done that one, I'm going to move on and do the other two quickly, and then we're going to sort the rest of the bodywork on the car out. Right then, so we've finished waxing the car now. It's completely covered in wax and it's ready to come off. We've also done all of the tyres, all the plastic and rubber trimmers on the car. All we need to do now is get the wax off and we'll see how good it looks. Right then, so there we go, that's the result. All we need to do now then, tomorrow, is to clean the inside quickly, make it nice and clean in there, put the washer jet back on, and then we should be able to take it somewhere, get some good photos of it and put it up for sale, and I'm sure this is going to go really quickly. Right, so then guys, now all we need to do is pull this one out. It should just come out, and then I should be able to pop the clips off at each side and clip this one on, and we should be good to go. Easy as that, literally just pop these clips off each side, hold the washer jet out, clip the new one on, and it looks good as new. Right then, so the wing badge is ready to go now. All I've done is cleaned it up quickly, put some more double-sided tape on it. Should just be simple. Pop it in there and it should stick straight on. Right then guys, so the interior is pretty filthy on the car, but apart from that, it's fairly clean. All we need to do then is give this a quick hoover. Right then guys, so we've literally just given the interior a quick clean. It looks lovely now. All we need to do is get some nice photos of it and we can put it up for sale. Right, so then guys, now we've cleaned the car up, we can put it up for sale, and we're going to quickly flick through all the photos and show you what the car looks like now. So, in the end, the car actually ended up selling for £4,800. And the car, all in, with everything that we've done to the car and a little bit of our time, cost us just under £2,500. So for just over £2,300 profit, it's not bad at all.